let's go around and get everybody's vote. You got DeSantis or Trump being the nominee?
Trump.
I was literally just about to say, I hope you're right, Russell. Not only because it would be way more hilarious to see a primary between DeSantis and Trump. Like, it would not be hilarious at all to see just Trump wash them, right? It'll be way more funny to see the fucking primary. And also, I hope that's the case because, as I said last time, in front of thousands of people on the Jimmy Dore show, I said I think Ron DeSantis was going to get the nomination. So, for my prediction's sake, I hope that's correct.
Man, me and you are going to take a victory lap. If DeSantis wins, we're going to have Bud Lights on the air and everything.
I got Trump.
Trump.
We're talking about taking bets now.
I had DeSantis before.
No,
not bets for money. But what I mean by bets is like we're talking about who we want to win the nomination or who we think is going to.
No, we're predicting or
who predicting.
With the terrain, who do you think is going to win the nomination at this point?
All right, well, I'm the last vote, right? Because CJ and Kit both got Trump, Russell and Nick both
Trump,
got
DeSantis.
Yeah,
Trump.
Yeah, look,
what
Nick said in our last show.
Me on DeSantis, Nick?
What Nick said in our last show, I thought stuck with me, which is that electoral politics is very, very difficult to predict, and so it is very difficult to predict at this point because we're so far out. Oh man, I was coming to your side, Russell, but I'm starting to think it's going to be Trump again. I'm just starting to think that because they can't knock him off the board. They just can't knock him out. Like no matter what they do, they can't knock him out.
You can't take him out. You're taking his road to the presidency.
They arrest him. They drag him into court. They bring a rape trial where they said, "Yeah, you sexually abused this woman." You just can't take him off the board.
Yeah. Trump makes great TV.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that in the end, the Republican coalition, whatever that ends up being, and what it has been historically, is not going to go for the guy who can establish a legacy, who's going to be there for 2 terms, who's a young guy who's proven that he can actually institute the policies they want instead of just virtue signaling about them.
You're 100% right. There's a completely rational argument for why DeSantis is the better choice for them and why they might very well make that choice. Like I've been kind of 50-50 this whole time. Immediately after the midterms, I was leaning DeSantis. I'm still 50-50, so don't take it too personally, Russell. But right now, my gut just kind of says Trump. But it's gut. It's 51-49 in my book. Like it's really a toss-up in my view. Yeah, I'm not confident either way.
I picked DeSantis. I don't. That was like over a year ago. That was a long time ago. I remember I said on Jimmy's show, I was like, I think DeSantis is gonna win, but a lot of changes. Then I was like, man, a lot of changes. Now,
well, we've hedged our bets pretty well. RBN, you got one DeSantis, one Trump. You're right either way. We got one DeSantis, one Trump.
I got Nick. Is Nick still DeSantis though?
So I'm all in for.
If I'm gonna be honest, I thought DeSantis would win last year, but now I don't think that is, and I'll tell you why. First, I did not predict that Trump and his people are going to be pushing like their talking points on Ukraine like the way they are.
Yeah,
and I didn't see that being a difference between him and DeSantis. And then DeSantis tried to do what Trump did. We like, man, I gotta flank him on this. I gotta make sure I'm not bad on this issue. But you can tell he flipped. You can tell he's not passionate about the issue. So he spoke out against Ukraine, got crucified by the right, by Marco Rubio, many people, and then he backed down and he came out like, well, actually, I meant Putin's a thug. And I said, so when I see that weakness, bro, Trump is gonna eat that shit alive, bro. Like that weakness that he has, Trump didn't have that shame where if he said that shit about Ukraine, if he was a nominee back in the day, and then Marco Rubio come out and criticize him for it, Trump would have been like, fuck you, Marco, little Marco, what the fuck you think you talking about? Meanwhile, DeSantis ran away, and that shows that, man, this dude's in over his head. The Ukraine thing, Trump is going to beat his ass on. And Ron DeSantis can't out-Trump Trump. And that's why I changed my opinion on. We see. Like, I think those factors changed a lot. But who knows? Who knows?
There were some debate prep tapes of DeSantis that leaked recently, though. I think it was from 2018. And what you saw was a guy who is very, very calculating about every move, whereas Trump is not. DeSantis can run a war room, whereas Trump is just this agent of chaos. Now, the question is Trump big enough to overcome that? Because in politics, size matters, right? Can he just through brute force? Yeah. Can he overcome that through sheer presence possible. I'm really 50-50. Like I said, I mean, I gave you an answer. That's what my gut tells me right now. Tomorrow I could be back on the other way. That's what
I've always thought Trump has never had a real opponent. Not really.
It comes down to the dollars, though. It always comes down to the dollars, especially with somebody like Trump. Because again, who can the Republican politicians or those new up and comers who are sycophants for Trump, especially the Freedom Caucus who are all in for Trump? Who's good for the dollars and the fundraising? Trump. Who's good for the views for corporate media? Trump. I mean, corporate media needs Trump like they need to do a line.